Keep in mind that trans members were already non-deployable. They were eating up resources of the military because of either the gender reassignment surgery, or in certain cases, they were still recovering. I don't know if you know this. It's a long process.
Yeah,
and so you, the taxpayer, were paying for people who couldn't actually defend the country, which is almost like the original role of the military. Did you expect Donald Trump to move so fast on the women's rights issue, on the trans issue, protecting women? We talked about protecting American citizens. Now it's about protecting women, from male boxers, from male murderers being housed with women in prisons. This is something I didn't see coming this quickly. And again, he definitely knows that he has a mandate of the masses, that this is not something that is a touchy issue anymore and has overwhelming support. If you believed otherwise, you were lied to. You were lied to, and I'll get to the polls, but you have heard this chant, this mantra ad nauseum, right, that Donald Trump is anti-woman.
Donald Trump does have a general election problem, even if he gets this nomination, even if everything goes the way it has been for him during the primary. As he heads toward the general election, he brings with him a big problem with women voters.
So Donald Trump mocks women, makes fun of women, has assaulted women, and took their reproductive rights away.
He does not prioritize the freedom of women and the intelligence of women to make decisions about their own lives and bodies.
I happen to run against a incredibly overtly sexist candidate. And Trump delighted in insulting women.
Let's just say very blatantly, the misogyny runs deep with Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I love about Trump. Can you imagine what this country would look like under Kamala Harris?
No, Nick. That should have our economy so up. Be in China's little. We have running all over this. They're fake. They're Mexicans.
You kiss Steven's mother with that mouth?
All right, guys, let's just stop.
Jeez, guys.
That's enough. That is
a little over the top.
Nick, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nick.
I'm sorry. I was offended.
Yeah,
I get upset sometimes.
I get, but you're still my dad.
Had a salty tongue on that.
Yes,
man.
he does. Let's go through the pro-woman moves for Mr. Misogynist, okay? Here's pro-woman move number one. Donald Trump has declared the obvious at his inauguration, and we're going to look back at this moment in history and say, there were always two genders, and then from a period of about 2015 to 2023, it might have been 73, and then it went back to two. And he made sure that this was an official declaration at his inauguration.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
History is going to look back. Historians are going to look back and be like, oh, that must be a typo. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you'd feel the need to mention that.
He didn't have to say that.
I know.
He had to clarify at the end, male and female.
Historians are going to be like, they're going to be studying this in college. Why did he say that there were only two genders? There was this thing that happened for half a decade where people were saying that wasn't the case. And then people say so back in the 2020s, there was some kind of an outbreak of mass retardation.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like Dave Blaine, massive
Imagine having to pass an executive order to say that.
Yeah.
And then if they win again, they'll turn it back. We're fighting over something you can't even argue with it.
Well, the thing is now they're going to see the numbers, the left and the support, and they're going to keep their head down and lie to you. So be aware of that. And by the way, two genders, something I've been saying since 2014, 2015, 2009, but officially being banned on college campuses for it. You can go and watch those because we've been making this case for a very long time.
He's been picking off every demographic of these people. Do you think he's starting to carve into the suburban white women a little bit?
I hope.
Well, yeah, I think
that's the last one.
I really do.
Well, at least he has actually changed a lot of their minds because we have the new numbers from the New York Times on trans athletes in women's sports, and the numbers are kind of surprising how rapidly they've changed. So first day in office, Trump signed an executive order that the U.S. government only recognized male and female. That means no more marking X on federal documents. And of course, trans TikTokers, which is a niche voting market, but it still needs to be on your radar, they're melting down.
Hey, y'all. It's me again.
Jen Psaki looks like crap.
Oh, God.
I can't get a passport right now. I can't get a passport right now.
It's Jen Nutsack.
And
that's probably
a little
good.
fun fact for you, in case you didn't know either. for people with gender markers that do not match their appearance, or the gender marker X that are trying to go through United States borders right now, they're being stopped and they're being detained.
What, did she got Parkinson's?
Hey, can you guys do me a favor and research this funny little thing called V-coding?
No,
I'll get right on it, Butch. Fucking skank.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. Man, I gotta go to work like nothing's happening right now.
Yeah.
At least
something is happening.
Yeah.
And we can see it.
Look at the choppers on that. Oh my God.
There's
Lunatic.
something happening here.
Yeah. Just got
Stop
worse.
Tranny. What's that sound? Everybody's dick is going down.
No.
What's the name of that song? Everyone knows the song, but I don't know the name.
Dusty Springfield.
That's the theme of Vietnam, right? We all know the song.
It's called, because it has a weird title.
Yes, it does.
It's
Put
completely...
the cup down, damn it.
What's the title? Hold on, he's almost close. He's almost
I'm
close.
not on camera, am I?
Well, I can't put you on camera.
Well, that's the idea, man. I don't feel good.
Grab a mug.
Comment below. Chat, you guys got to know the name of the song.
It's called, like, By the Way or something like that.
Something like that.
Something
What
like
is
that.
Not related to the lyric, you mean? Yeah.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth. That makes no sense.
I can never remember that. You're right.
It's a stupid title.
It really is.
Let's change it.
Because David Crosby named it. Fucking wet brain.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
Great song, though.
You saw that person who, immutable character, whatever, looks like they just crawled out of a sewer, freaking out. It's like literally looks like a mutilate. It's a dike crawler. dump.
Leave it alone.
We're gonna stop streaming live to YouTube at some point.
Can we do that? Can I expedite
Eventually we can.
Anything I can do to help you?
This is not. I don't know if you know this.
I'm
This person is quite famous. This is not the first time that this lip licker has had a public meltdown.
Get your filthy hands off me, you pathetic little man! Hello, father.
You are no son of mine.
Look, at some point you just got to help them.
Yeah.
And feel.
What was that, from Three's Company?
Also, let's ban
She was
TikTok.
better looking back then.
That would help us out.
Here's the next pro-woman move that we have seen here. Prohibiting trans from joining the military. Trans individuals. Trump signed an executive order. Again, you have all of these references available link in the sidebar. Saying, prioritizing military excellence and readiness. Not dicks.
But on the right people.
The order went on to say that it was consistent with the military mission and longstanding DoD policy, expressing a false gender identity divergent from an individual's sex cannot satisfy the rigorous standards necessary for military service. The left freaks out, and we say, of course. Keep in mind that trans members were already non-deployable. They were eating up resources of the military because of either the gender reassignment surgery, or in certain cases, they were still recovering. I don't know if you know this. It's a long process.
Yeah,
and so you, the taxpayer, were paying for people who couldn't actually defend the country, which is almost like the original role of the military. Here's an example. People like this, are now going to have to, I know this is a crazy idea, fund their own transitions, not use your taxpayer dollars through the military.
This started back in 2017, enlisted to transition, no other goal than that. And I come from a very conservative state. I come from Florida. So, I could kind of feel which way the wind was blowing even back then.
You're
so
hideous.
Graduated, went to school for, to learn what I was going to be doing. And almost immediately, I went to medical and I asked to be referred. And within a week, I was talking to a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Now, in the military, you have to have a diagnosis so that they can deem it medically necessary to give you hormones and start the transition.
What's the diagnosis?
You spell that, please?
Yes.
Write it down on a pad. Take it to the drugstore. Can you fill this?
Looks like she's suffering from...
So we have the executive order, 2 genders.
Yeah.
What were your point?
No, I was going to say that this is one of the only times on the second point here, right? The trans in the military. It's one of the only times that I've agreed with Dan Crenshaw recently. He has a massive spine on this one. I don't know where his spine went on some of the other things we've disagreed lately on, but he's like, no, they're not fit for service. He's like, you don't understand. That has been my position forever. Not fit for service. And also these guys are non-deployable, whatever they are, happen to be. I don't know why we ever thought this was a good idea.
No one did. It was, you will do this in spite of it being a bad idea.
I'll take it a step further, and you won't agree with this, but it's the reason women weren't in the military for a long time.
Oh, I agree.
As soon as you let them in, what happened?
Yeah.
Rapes, all this horseshit, court cases, pregnancies. There was a reason for some shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it evolves, and you know what? It doesn't work out all the time.
No, it doesn't.
Sit back and look at it.
Yep.
I don't know why Dr. Gooney over there is laughing, but...
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. I was just thinking the good old days of the military, when you wanted to rape somebody, it had to be another man.
That's
you
right.
Really had to
Yes,
want it.
yes, that's true. The point is, we all had to make compromises.
Just like prison.
It's called being an adult. And that means sometimes you're going to have to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's a social experiment that didn't work, okay, Dems?
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Not only can they not do pull-ups, obviously, but it disrupts the entire unit. Because men are different without women. That's the group you want going out to kill people. Okay? No, I completely agree, and certainly in combat units. Let's go on, though. This is another one. This is pretty big. And then the last one is I would say, monumental as far as we did that? So pro-woman move number 3. This is about protecting the very idea of a woman because, conservatives can actually identify one. He said no more men in women's sports. So this was speaking to the World Economic Forum. He was crystal clear, and people now support it.
And I've made it official, an official policy of the United States, that there are only 2 genders, male and female. And we will have no men participating in women's sports, and transgender operations, which became the rage, will occur very rarely.
like so perfect.
Like the hula hoop.
Like the yo-yo.
Checkers. What's that dance?
And this is a new New York Times poll. And keep in mind, you can go back and watch the Change My Minds where I would cite, I believe it was New York Times, their older poll, where the support on this was about 60-something%, meaning people did not support. They supported banning male athletes in female sports. The newest poll, 79% of Americans do not believe that males should compete in female sports, regardless of how they identify. Keep in mind, it's now 67% of Democrats. Man. You can't get 80% of Americans to agree on anything. You want to know how the left overreached? Here you go. Please, guys, stop apologizing. Appeasing crocodiles is futile. At this point, you can actually, Republicans need to stop and conservatives need to stop reacting to, this might be political suicide, and start doing what the left does, shaping public opinion. Because you can be better at it because you actually have an opinion that is easily defensible.
Yeah, and plenty of support is there.
Yes.
If you will go and talk to people about it.
Yes.
And just have a spine and be like, hey, this is sensible. Let's do it. Okay.
It's what the Dems ignore. Even when they were in power, they ignore the polls.
Yeah.
The majority of people say this. They just say, fuck it, we're going to do. And that's why a lot of this is easy cleanup for Trump.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it is. There's no opposition from the public. There is on the Reddit boards.
Right. That's right.
But here's a pro-woman move number 4. He's the women's rights president. It has a good ring to it. This is one where you'll go, what? This is a thing? Some of you may not have been following this. We were suspended from YouTube.
We were.
Almost removed forever for covering this. For covering instances that actually happened. Men are now out of women's prisons by executive order. First day in office, he signed an executive order titled Defending Women from Gender Ideology, Extremism, and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government. No men will be detained in women's prisons. Now, let me tell you, first off, it's common sense, right? All the reasons that we just talked about in the military only add hardened criminals in the mix. We have plenty of examples of women being assaulted by transgender inmates, right? We have examples of, there have been stories of, I have to keep it to exactly what we can prove because YouTube will remove you if you suggest that, hey, you might end up with a problem, or there are utterings that we have heard of women becoming pregnant or inmates actually murdering their son. We cannot confirm this because the media doesn't want you to confirm it, but let me give you the most ludicrous example that is undeniable. Rikers. A woman alleged jail staff ignored her warnings in 2022 that a transgender woman housed among females was actually a man pretending to be a woman in order to prey on the opposite sex behind bars. And NBC News did cover this. Thank God we found it, because we were banned for covering this before. There is a well-documented history of trans inmates getting women pregnant. It's almost like that's a problem.
Yeah. Something we could have seen coming. You mean criminals are going to commit crimes in prison?
No pun intended.
And this is what the left will go, yeah, what's your proof? Remember, it's the reverse nirvana fallacy. And you can go and watch it and change my mind. They go, oh, so what are you saying? You're saying there's going to be a problem? Why haven't we seen it yet? Why haven't we seen a problem of men dominating records, women's sports? Here you go. Why? Well, you're saying this, but where's your proof? Why haven't we seen women be assaulted or become pregnant? Huh? Where's your proof? That's saying because we haven't tried it yet and it hasn't been awful, therefore it likely will be perfect. No. The onus is on you if you are trying to radically upend and fundamentally shift society. There's a reason that males and females have been separated in violent prison houses forever.
Right.
There's a reason for it. There's a reason that males and females forever were separated when it came to contact sports, any sports. By the way, unfortunately, you can apply it to anything, even pool. I don't know why guys are better at it. It is. It is. These things are what they are. Do not blame me. We're on a Dickens kick. Here's pro woman move number 5. Okay? And this one seems like it should be obvious. Again, no more surgeries for kids.
Thank God.
Transgender surgeries. Executive order. Protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
That was hate speech on YouTube. You couldn't call it mutilation. That was not permitted. This is the ripple effect. That now means, because of executive order, we can discuss these things on big tech platforms. Mm-hmm. No more suspensions over that, because it can be challenged, and it can be a lot easier to challenge. I do think he's playing 4D chess with this one, because he knows now that this actually effectively renders these platforms, they have to be free speech platforms. They can no longer say that's hate speech.
No.
Because it's law.
Exactly. It's law. And it should never have had to come to that. Like, parents should have been the first line of defense, and parents abdicated that responsibility and did something that was culturally, I guess, like all the rage, like you said, like it's a freaking Tickle Me Elmo or something like that people are looking after. It's surgeries for kids.
It tickles.
Yeah. It
hurts.
Don't worry. It won't tickle anymore after the surgery. So
the left is so good at language. That's where they beat us every time. Pro-choice, Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
And we just take it. And then they ban language. And we got to see it coming next time.
YouTube's
when they get the tiller of the ship, we got to see it coming next time.
Yep.
Who's running YouTube? Chaz Bono?
This chin strap. Don't you love how when transgender females become males, it's always a douchey stereotype of a male? Like, I got to look like a guy. I know. Gold chain and chin strap beard.
Yeah.
And I'll get really, really fat because they're bigger.
Yes. They never look like you. They never look like just normal guys. It's like a stereotype of like a 90s bully.
Yeah, and the guys do it the same way with women.
Like, what, you think women have to look a certain way? I don't know. Ask every transgender male to female or drag queen ever.
Right.
They dress up with... Do you not see the giant fake tits and sequined purple dress? This doesn't offend you? But Barbie having a reasonable sized waist is somehow oppressive?
Or more.
All right. Yeah. Don't wait on that accurate to scale average American physique Barbie anytime soon, because that's done too.
Bruce Jenner's wearing size 13 male pumps.
I know. I know. His hands.
It's true.
That's passable.
He cracks me up. He didn't go all the way. He went about 90%.
Yeah, I know.
But he left the voice and the hair and the hands. And to me, it's still Bruce Jenner in a dress with a wig on.
Of course.
It cracks me up. And I love the guy. Girl with thing.
That was the best athlete on earth.
No, I know. And,
amazing.
And,
until he hit a woman and killed her.
All right.
Yeah, as soon as he became a woman, he's a bad driver.
Whoa, whoops.
I learned a lesson not to text and drive. So this executive order, by the way, it cuts Medicaid, Medicare funding to any hospitals that provide transition care to minors, and medical schools, hospitals that receive federal grants have to stop transition care. Donald Trump posted about this on Truth, meaning like this seems to matter to him.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is the guy who was the first pro-gay marriage president to be inaugurated on that position in his first term. So people can't say this is just a bigot. Barack Obama wasn't pro same-sex marriage. until he was. When he was inaugurated, he wasn't. So obviously we've gone too far. You've pushed this guy too far. He posted on Truth, "Today, it was my great honor to sign an executive order banning the chemical castration and medical mutilation of innocent children in the United States of America. Our nation will no longer fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support so-called, quotes, gender-affirming care." I put in quotes because it's not that. It has already ruined far too many precious lives. That's actually a pretty serious tone for Donald Trump.
Great.
It really is. And I wonder if this is maybe some of the Elon Musk stuff, kind of, because Elon is really
maybe
anti this whole brain rot thing that he's saying, and he lost obviously a son to this, and so maybe that's been something that's kind of echoing. And
I think it's
know,
barren.
whatever it is, it's great.
I think it's barren. You know why? Because he's young and he knows it's a winning issue with young people.
Maybe.
Trump's whole tone is lower and less energy. You notice when he speaks now? It's more kind of John Gotti-ish at the...
He's controlled.
And it's authoritative.
And he's a little slow and he's more serious.
Do we have any PR people? This guy should be the best pro-woman children president ever.
Yeah.
I mean, can we spin that into a narrative somehow?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying right now.
Well, work fast.
Hard.
If only we had a show,
If only we had a platform.
Only we had a platform that, streamed live to 800,000 people.
Maybe then.
And
By the way, actually, let me give you really quickly. Donald Trump is about to go live at a press conference in just a minute. We can go to that if we want to. I just want you to know about it. We don't have to.
Got it.
And we have some updates on the Kash Patel hearing whenever you're ready.
I do want to do that. So I will say this. Donald Trump summed up his position on this quite nicely. Then I have one more key fact to give you.
They don't want to have transgender for everyone. They don't want a child leave home as a boy and come back 2 days later as a girl. A parent doesn't want to see that.
A dame,
and there
a
are states
mole.
where that can happen.
I just picture him, his son coming back like, "Dad, I'm a girl now." What?
Baroness.
No.
Yes, I'm Donna. I'm Donna Jr.
And by the way, just so you know,
Not passable at 6'9".
the left here is further than socialist leftists in Europe. The EU is more conservative on trans issues.
Yes.
Let me give you, this is actually like the trans rights map. It's actually a thing out there. Half of EU countries have unbelievable requirements in order to be considered for any type of trans intervention, including a formal medical diagnosis, medical surgical intervention, right? Sterilization required in 5 countries. There are a bunch of hoops to jump through. 20 of 27 EU countries permit conversion therapy. 23 of 27 don't actually recognize trans parenthood rights as far as how these people identify it. Europe is more conservative than the United States on this issue. And this is what you're seeing is, you're seeing these policies, you're seeing these executive orders, you're seeing the mass public support, and the ripple effect is not just the legislation, but you're seeing a tone shift. So to give you an idea, this is really funny to me. Yesterday, the DOJ's LGBT support group, DOJ Pride, it's voluntary. It's shut down. They just said, "We're not doing this anymore. We feel silly."
I think they were founded in like 91 or 94. It's been around for a while. It's like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
No, that acronym wasn't, though. They tagged that later.
DOJ.
No, the
Pride.
LGBT.
Yeah, they changed it. All these groups now that are LGBTQ, whatever, I guarantee you at one point they were just like gay bi. We should just put lesbian under gay. You could say gay even though it was lesbian.
Sure.
Like, we pretty much
the
had
gay
to catch
community
them.
can't stand them because they're running on their track they've built over decades.
They really hate the train.
Yeah, they do. I mean, think about Johnny Mathis. He's gay and he was on a track.
Yes, he was.
I don't think about Johnny Mathis.
How did you know that?
Oh, I know. He's because
How did you know that? You're too goddamn young.
Well, I got into a lot of trouble for a joke where they read it. Imagine reading on this. I go, and he actually once said, I'm sorry to read this, that, quote, Johnny Mathis is the worst kind of queer because you could never outrun him. That's the kind of rhetoric.
You said that?
Yes. And you hear it read on the news, and Don Lemon's like, disgusting.
Do you do Johnny Mathis yet?
Not right now because I'm a little.
Yeah,
that's kind of Sammy Davis a little bit.
No, give me. I was a little nervous.
What do TikTok nurses, COVID lockdowns, and lesbian school teachers have in common? None of them will be included in this next video if you click it. It's the internet. It's a cruel, dark place. I can't promise you the world. But today, I can offer you that. And isn't that a step in the right direction?